Hello everyone, welcome back to the Docker Essential series. My name is Dheeraj Chaudhary. In our previous videos, we have built application with multiple containers using Docker Compose, but that's a critical aspect we need to address. How do you configure your application? How do you pass database, passwords, API keys, and other sensitive information to containers securely? Today, we are diving into environment variables and secret management in Docker. You will learn how to configure containers properly, understand their security risk of mishandling sensitive data, and discover best practices for managing secrets in Docker containers. By the end of this video, you will know how to handle configuration and sensitive data the right way. Let's get started. So let's start by understanding why configuration management really matters. Every real application needs configuration. Database connection strings to know where to connect, API keys to authenticate with external services, service URLs that differ between development and production, feature flags to enable or disable features, and password or credentials for authentication. So these are the basic five things. At least this you are going to get in every real-time application. The wrong way to handle this is hard coding the values directly in your code. Imagine you hard coded your production database password in your application code, and now that password is in your Git repository forever, visible to anyone who is going to access that Git repository. Even if you delete it later, it's still going to be there in Git history. So if you use the same configuration for all environments, your development database might accidentally connect to production, which is going to be a disaster. So the right approach is to externalize configuration, meaning keep it separate from your code. Use different configurations for different environments. Development uses dev database credentials, production uses production credentials, and critically handle sensitive data securely, never exposing it to the outer world unnecessarily. Docker provides mechanism for this through environment variables and Docker secrets. So environment variables are the standard way to pass configuration to containers, making your application flexible and environment agnostic. Let's explore how to use them effectively and securely. So Docker provides three main ways to set your environment variables in containers. First, you use the -e flag to run it with Docker run, where you specify the variable name and the value. Like you can see over here, this is the variable name and this is the value. So you can use multiple e flags to set multiple variables within one single commands. And this is simple, but it gets unwindingly uh, big with many variables. Imagine you are typing 10 to 15 flags inside this specific command. How long that command is going to be? It is going to be uh, not readable properly. Then second, using an environment variable with .env file. Now, what is this .env file? This is a very simple way, and actually in enterprise we use it. I have worked for all the clients, and this is the basic practice that they use. The second one for sure. So if I take you to our Docker Compose, okay. So in my Docker Compose, what I have. So before that, let me tell you. So this is my environment.env file. So your .env file is supposed to be in the root directory of your application. Over here, what it is going to do is it is going to go ahead. You can go ahead and describe the username and password, API keys, whatever data that you don't want to push to Git or to the external world. It has to be local on your machine. So in this case, you can have your credentials defined in this way. So right now I have defined my credentials for dev, UAT, and prod. So this segregation also helps me when I'm going to use it. So for example, now if I want to use devdb user, so while I am going to create my database over here, when I have to pass the username as part of environment variables, I'm just going to say dollar and the name as, oh sorry, I'm just going to say dollar and I'm going to go ahead and paste this. So I will just paste it here and you can see devdb user. So based on my requirement, I can use those variables and I can pass that into the code. So whenever Docker is going to go ahead and run this, so Docker is going to get this dollar value from the .environment file, which is there in your local environment. So this is how you can actually save your credentials on your local machine, and The second challenge would be if you are saving it here, when you're going to perform a push to Git, it would go to Git. No, it won't, because you have to also go ahead and mention this .env and dot whatever. Suppose if I have made .env, and in this I have done dev, UAT and prod, but many people make it separately, env dev, env UAT, like that. So I have already ignored this file. So as part of the Docker build, it is not going to go in the context itself, and as part of the git ignore also, I have added this file, so it is not going to be pushed on my Git. So this is the practice that actually enterprise really follow, that I have witnessed. Third, you can set the default variables in your Docker file using the env instruction, like the variable name and the value. But this become part of image, uh, and set of the containers created from that image. And this is good for non-sensitive default variable pairs only. So for example, when you're defining port, this is non-sensitive. When you're defining the environment, it is non-sensitive. So inside the container, your application reads this environment variable just like it would read on a regular system, but it is not a good practice to use the database username and password like this when you are using it, okay, in your Docker file. So better what you can do is you can actually go ahead and use the environment variable. Now, next we are going to talk about environment variables in Docker Compose. Okay, our last video we have discussed a lot, but now let's see one more example for it. In your Docker Compose .yaml file, each service can have an environment section where you define the variables. So if I take you to our previous example, so right now, see, each service of mine, apart from the web, the API, the database, see, both of these service are having environment. If I want, I can add it over here also. In each service, you can go ahead and add and define your variables. Like for example, you can use the list of variables like node environment is equal to production, or map the format with a key value pair that is like this. See, this is key and this is value with colon. Either you do it with is equal to, or either you do it with colon. So now when you are doing it with is equal to, you have to use dash. And when you're doing that in key value pair, you have to define it in this way. So this is what you have to keep in mind. However, uh, you don't want to hard code sensitive values like password in Docker Compose .yaml file again, especially if you are committing it to Git. So instead, you can again use the substitution variable over here. Substitution variable means, so we are going to create a .env file, and from there I am going to get this value. So over here you can see again I have used dollar API key. So what I will do, I will go ahead and just define my API key as part of this env file. So it is going to go ahead and pick that from my env file itself. So here is the critical security lesson. Every variable are not secure for sensitive data. And this is a common misconception. Let me explain why. First, anyone with access to Docker daemon can run Docker inspect on your container and see all the environment variables, including passwords and API keys. Second, environment variables can appear in logs. If your application logs its configuration or an error, it includes environment context, and the secrets might leak from there too. Third is the environment variables are inherited by the child processes. So if your application spawns other processes, they all see the secrets. And fourth, if an application crashes and generates an error report, environment variables might be included there also. Fifth, if you set environment variables in Docker file using env, they are baked into the image layer, and anyone who has the image can extract them. This doesn't mean environment variables are useless. They are perfectly fine for non-sensitive configuration. So as I said, when you are using this env like this for these kinds of non-sensitive things, it is okay. But for this username and password, you should not use it. Now, sorry, you should not use it. But for truly sensitive data like database password, API key, private secrets, encryption key, environment, these aren't alone secure by using .env file. So for production system handling real sensitive data, you need Docker secrets or external secret management that I am going to talk with you now. So now uh, let's talk about practical strategies for managing secrets in real projects. Now we have moved one step ahead of .env, because many a times that .env can also leak the data. Now, for development, .env files work great. So right now, whatever I have showed you for .env, it is good for developer. Each developer has its own .env file with development credentials, and the file is listed in .git ignore, so it is never committed to Git also. For non-sensitive configuration, regular environment variables are fine. As I already said, like for port number, there is no need to put that into specialized secure management. Now, you can even use mock or fake credentials for local development. A local test database doesn't need a strong password. For production, the approach depends on your infrastructure. If you are on AWS, you can use AWS Secrets Manager or Parameter Store. If you are on Azure, you can use Azure Key Vault, where you can save your sensitive credentials. That is better than having that in environment file, specifically for your production environment. I'm not talking about development, for production. Third, if you are on Google Cloud, again, Google Cloud also have a secret manager. You can use that. And this services encrypt secrets, control access, and provide audit logs and integrate with containers. So providing audit log means what? So who has actually gone ahead and accessed this data that is there in their credential stores? That also can be audited. It is that advanced. And for advanced need across multiple platforms, you can also use HashiCorp Vault. It is a powerful solution. Regardless of the system, follow these general rules that might help you. So always add .env to your .gitignore and use completely different secrets for each environment, so a compromised dev secret doesn't affect your production. What I mean by that, so if you see, my dev, UAT, and production secrets are different. Many times people keep all three of them different. They have added all the security over here, and if this leaks, everything leaks. So what is the meaning of adding an extra layer of security for here when you have not followed the best practice of changing the username and password different for every different environments? So that is one of the best practice you should follow. Next, give each service only the secrets it absolutely needs. Don't give every container access to every secret. Many a times, if you are using a container, suppose if I am using a web container, why it would require the access to the credentials of database, right? So I should not give that access to that specific container if it's trying to access, or the worker node which is trying to access it. Instead, I can have those server only which is having the database installed on it. And these practices protect your application and data significantly in real time. Now let's see complete production ready example of secure configuration. So we have two files. One is .env file and a Docker Compose file. Now the .env file over here contains the actual secret values, database password, API key, Redis password, and this file is not committed to Git as it's added in .git ignore. So each environment has its own .env file with appropriate secrets. And the Docker Compose file is committed to Git because it doesn't contain actual secrets. It only contains the variable references like database password over here, Redis password, database password, whatever we have mentioned, API keys. So this file documents what configuration the application needs without exposing the value. Notice in web service, we are building connection strings that include these secrets. The database service uses the password from the environment. Redis is configured to require authentication using the password. Okay, so Redis is also is going to require the Redis password to get authenticated. Now a new developer joining your team clones the repository, creates their own .env file with development credentials based on the template you have provided, and everything is going to work. In production, you create a .env file with production credentials, deploy the same Docker Compose file, and the application runs with your production config also. This pattern is clean, secure, and widely adopted. So same config file, and on every environment, this file is going to be different. One file for dev is going to have this credential, UAT will have another credential, and prod will have other credentials. So you're just going to push this file, and those credentials which are already configured for prod file, based on that only it is going to pull the password, and it is going to create the same infrastructure that you're creating on your dev environment. This pattern is clean, secure, and widely adopted. It separates code from configuration, keeps secret out of version control, and makes environment management straightforward. And still, in today's enterprise, many of them use this approach. Now, that's a wrap for today's tutorial on environment variables and secret management. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning step by step, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the upcoming tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.